Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive with us.
Always exciting to get into a new company.
Right? Today we're looking at Supriya Life Science,
Hmm.
an Indian pharmaceutical company.
Okay.
And we've got some interesting stuff here. A mix of, their financials, the unaudited Q3 FY25 financials fresh from the Bombay Stock Exchange,
All right.
but also some interesting news about some board appointments.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah, should be an interesting deep dive for everyone today.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So let's jump right into it. So Supriya Life Science brought in 1,856.48 million in revenue this past quarter.
Okay.
And that's a pretty big jump from the 4,100.74 million they saw during the same period last year.
Yeah, that's significant growth.
Yeah. And on top of that, they're showing a net profit of 467.83 million.
So pretty healthy numbers there.
Yeah, so from the outside looking in, it seems like they're doing quite well.
Absolutely. Yeah, on the surface, it really seems like they're in a strong growth phase.
Yeah, but what do you think is driving that?
Well, it's tough to say definitively without more detailed information. But
Yeah.
there are a few usual suspects we could consider.
Yeah. What are some of the things you look at when you see that kind of growth?
Well, one possibility is a surge in demand for their existing products.
Okay.
Maybe they've got something that's really resonating with the market right now.
Yeah.
Another possibility is they've had a successful new product launch,
Right.
something that's brought in a whole new segment of customers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or it could be that they've expanded their reach, they're tapping into new markets.
Yeah, so probably a combination of all those things, right?
Exactly. It's likely a mix of factors all contributing to that impressive growth.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we don't have a detailed breakdown of, their product sales or anything in these documents.
Right.
But it would be interesting to see how that all breaks down.
It would definitely be interesting to see, how their portfolio has evolved over the past year and how that aligns with this revenue growth.
Yeah, for sure. So speaking of interesting additions, let's talk about these board appointments.
Okay, yeah, let's dive into that.
So they've added these two new members to their board, Dr. Ganapathy Dadasaheb Yadav and Dr. Sunil Subhash Bhagwat.
Interesting.
And they both have some pretty impressive credentials.
Okay, well, let's hear it.
So Dr. Yadav is a Padma Shri recipient,
Wow.
which is one of India's highest civilian honors.
Okay,
He's also a member of the U.S. National Academy of Engineering,
impressive.
and he was the vice chancellor of the Institute of Chemical Technology in Mumbai.
Wow, he's got a pretty strong background.
Yeah, so he seems like quite the prominent figure in the scientific community.
He does. And what I find really fascinating about Dr. Yadav is his expertise in green chemistry and engineering.
Yeah. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, it's not just about, making chemicals. It's about looking at the whole process of creation and use in a more sustainable way.
Okay.
Like, imagine if you could manufacture medications with, a much smaller environmental footprint,
Right.
or if the packaging was completely biodegradable. That's the kind of game-changing potential that someone like Dr. Yadav brings to the table.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's not just about profits, it's about making a difference too.
Absolutely. It's about doing business in a way that's mindful of the planet and its resources.
Yeah, that's a really interesting perspective.
Yeah.
So then we have Dr. Bhagwat.
Yes, Dr. Bhagwat is currently the director of the Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research in Pune.
Okay.
His specialty is chemical engineering with a focus on interfacial science and engineering.
Interfacial science and engineering. I'll admit I'm not familiar with that one.
So interfacial science basically deals with the interactions between different substances at their boundaries at a very, very tiny level, like a molecular level.
Oh,
And it's incredibly relevant to the pharmaceutical industry.
how so?
Well, think about how a drug is delivered into the body, how it interacts with cells, how it's broken down.
Right.
All of that is governed by the principles of interfacial science. So Dr. Bhagwat's expertise could be really valuable in optimizing drug delivery, making those drugs more effective, and maybe even reducing side effects.
Okay, that's fascinating. So picture this. You're an investor,
Yeah.
and you see these two big names joining the board of Supriya Life Science.
Yeah.
What's your first thought?
Well, my first thought would be, what's the strategy here?
Yeah.
It's like they're putting together this dream team of scientific minds, right?
Okay.
It seems like a pretty clear signal that they're serious about research and development.
Okay.
And maybe even a shift towards, a more sustainable and innovative approach to pharmaceuticals.
All right, hold that thought.
Yeah.
We'll dig a little deeper into the implications of these appointments and what they could mean for investors right after a quick break.
Yeah, it really feels like they're saying, hey, we're not just playing the game, we're changing it.
Yeah. I like that. It is bold to bring in these two, big names in science.
Hmm.
Makes you wonder if they're really trying to, do something different. Like, could this be the start of a whole new chapter for this company?
It very well could be. Let's just take Dr. Yadov's focus on green chemistry as an example.
Oh,
What if they develop a way to manufacture things that creates way less waste?
mhm.
Or what if all their packaging is biodegradable?
Right.
That could give them a serious advantage, especially now that everyone's thinking about sustainability.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Consumers are really starting to care about that kind of thing.
exactly. So it's good for business and it's good for the planet.
It's a win-win.
Exactly. And then you've got Dr. Bhagwat and his expertise.
Right.
He could help them revolutionize drug delivery systems.
Like how?
Well, think about therapies that deliver medication directly to certain cells.
Oh, wow.
That could minimize side effects and make the drugs much more effective.
So we could be talking about some really big advancements in medicine.
Yeah, the possibilities are pretty exciting.
Okay, so stepping back a bit and putting on our investor hat,
Okay.
what does this all mean for someone who's thinking about buying stock in Supriya Life Science?
Well, obviously, the strong financials we talked about are a good sign.
Right.
But, good investors don't just look at the present. They're looking ahead.
Right.
And I think these board appointments add a whole other dimension to consider.
Yeah, like they're getting ready to launch.
Exactly. So now investors are going to be watching to see how they leverage this new expertise to reach their goals.
Right.
Are they going to try to develop totally new drugs?
Right.
Will they actually make sustainability a priority in their manufacturing? How are they going to explain all this to the market?
Right. Lots of questions to think about.
Definitely. And it's exciting, but it's not without risk.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, bringing in new board members, especially these big personalities, could lead to some clashes.
Oh, yeah. Different visions and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And even if everyone gets along perfectly, there's no guarantee of success.
Right.
The pharmaceutical industry is really competitive,
Yeah.
and developing new drugs is a long and expensive process.
Yeah, it is.
So, there's always a chance that research might not work out or that someone else beats them to market.
Oh, right. So it's kind of a gamble.
In a way, yeah, every investment is. But then you've got to think about all those external factors, too.
Right, like the economy and regulations and global events.
Exactly. All those things can impact a business no matter how good their plans are.
So it seems like for investors, it's about balancing the excitement of potential growth with the understanding that there are always risks involved.
Exactly. That's why due diligence is so important. You need to look at everything, the financials, their strategy, the risks.
It's like being an explorer. You need to be prepared.
Yeah, a good analogy. And speaking of preparation, it's important to note that the auditor's report we have is based on unaudited financials.
Oh, right. Good point. It's easy to get caught up in the big numbers,
Yeah,
but we do need to remember that these are preliminary and could change once the full audit is done.
exactly. So, while the Q3 results look really promising, it's smart to be a little cautious until we see the final audited report.
It's like watching a movie trailer. It gets you excited, but you still have to wait for the full movie to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, so it seems like we've got a company here, Supriya Life Science, that's doing well, but also making some, pretty big moves that could change things up.
It really is a fascinating situation. And this is where you, the listener, come in.
Okay.
We've gone through the information, we've explored some different possibilities, but now it's your turn to take all that and draw your own conclusion.
Right. We've given you the pieces. Now it's up to you to put the puzzle together.
Exactly. So what do you think about all this?
Yeah.
What do you think these board appointments really mean for the future of Supriya Life Science?
Yeah. Could this be the start of something huge? Are they going to completely transform the pharmaceutical industry, or will they run into roadblocks?
Who knows, right? But that's what makes all this so interesting.
Yeah. And remember, all this information is really just the beginning.
I mean, there's so much more to learn about Supriya Life Science. We really encourage you to go out there, do your own research. Look at their products, track their progress, and come up with your own ideas about where they're headed.
Yeah. Maybe you'll find something we missed, or you'll come up with a completely different perspective.
Right. That's the great thing about the markets. There are always new ideas and information flowing.
It's a constant evolution.
So as we wrap up our deep dive on Supriya Life Science, we just want to leave you with this. Stay curious, keep learning, and don't be afraid to dig deep.
And hey, maybe someday you'll be the one sharing your insights on Supriya Life Science.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.
See you later.